here we kitchen. We just brought this. You know, what's happening.
You're right about that. Morning, Nicholas.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, good.
During the summer,
I know, like,
blink.
it all of a sudden feels like fall, just like that.
Weather's been so crazy.
But then today's supposed to be 86. So, 30-degree difference from this morning. Yeah. Yeah. Good, how about you? Any Hawaii trips lately or in your future?
I was there in May.
Oh, you were? Okay, awesome. Yeah, good.
Well, the main thing was really
Yeah.
direct and choreographed. There were opera
Oh my
and
gosh.
wine lighting. It was so
That's amazing.
in the classic. We're like, hey!
Yeah.
So December, he's been working on these musicals.
Yeah.
Years and years and years. So it's finally
That's awesome.
so
Okay.
so talented.
Yeah.
And it was fun in May because we went to these.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We just had
Just had a blast. I bet.
my son trying to get
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah.
so you know it's like, you know, Mike came and he got us the photo. It's like, Mom,
Yeah.
seriously. It's like, Evan, we're going to be using this all the time
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
You want me to give my money to some stranger or give it to you?
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Yeah.
When I go to visit, I'll see him making fun. So
Yeah.
right.
And then she saw me.
I saw him every day.
Yeah, that's
every
great.
day.
That is cool.
So it was really cool. And it was so fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was so good. Like,
Getting 5-star review.
yeah. So even he texted me after I got home and was like, Mom, it was so much fun. And I got to see you.
Yeah.
I said, I know. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Me and fear we had a thing in night.
Good, you tip.
Told me I was wasting time with all the silly things. I didn't die, she knocked me down every time I tried. But I found joy in my life. Sorrow swept me off my feet to Paris night. I took long walks on the beach next to the ocean and we cried. She came and overstayed way longer than I'd like. But I found joy in my life.
Oh, that is the main one to choose out of all of them. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's great. That's so this is basic. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's from yes, written at times using stories from them, understanding context of the make yes, yeah, script Southern Baptist, basically. Yes, absolutely. I mean, you'll be able to tell today. Yeah, and then there's some stuff. Oh, totally different. Yeah.
And like I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's an early service at night that is strictly teaching, and then the 10 o'clock is music, and then meditation, and then the teaching. Yeah, 9 and 10 every Sunday. And then sometimes we're outside if it's sunny. Yeah. CJ. Nice. Christy, nice. And then there's always coffee, tea out there, and then something once in a while. Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to Crosswalk today, everybody. Thank you for being here. As you can see, we have a brunch in the back. It looks like most of you got a plate already, so thank you. If you are new here, we have a welcome table in the back, and welcome being at Crosswalk today. You're in for a great service with a very wonderful guest speaker today. In the back on the welcome table, we have some books to take home with you, welcome gift bags, so check it out if you're new here. Some announcements. We've been talking a lot about the parking lot, but due to some engineering stuff that needs to happen first, it is postponed for now. It was going to start about a month from today, but it is postponed right now, so stay tuned with that. And then another announcement, urgent prayer chain. I think we've kind of forgot that we have this, but if you are interested or have an urgent request that you want on the prayer list, prayer chain, please reach out to Dar via text or email or in person if you're here. Other than that, thank you guys for your continued support. We've made a lot of progress here with our capital campaign and a lot of new projects on the way. While I'm up here, I just want to say thank you to Lynn and everyone in Kids Crossing. The last few weeks have been amazing with what they've done, and Xander and his buddies, Jack and Everett, are on their way to Brood today to try something new with a bigger crowd, so it's really awesome for us. Again, thank you for being here. You're in for a wonderful service. Thanks a lot.
So a new thing that we're doing around here is my mic. I feel golden today, so let's go with gold today. Hey, first thing I want to say is thank you for CJ for getting it out of his comfort zone. What we're trying to do, just to mix it up a little bit, is whoever is hosting the welcome table on a particular Sunday is welcoming people to the service and pointing out that welcome table, which, as a reminder, if you're new to us, we give you a book for free today. So pick out any title you want, and we're happy to make that our compliments to you. How many of you know Nicholas sitting right down here? Wave your hand, Nicholas. We all know who Nicholas is, right? How many of you ever had the pleasure of eating one of Nick's Chick's eggs? Yeah, right. He's very generous with his eggs. Nicholas, as soon as he started coming to Crosswalk, he went all in, and he has helped in so many ways. He was one of our trash czars for a while, and with his mom, sorting through our stuff, which got us that recycling award, which was so cool a bit ago. He sings in the chorus with great enthusiasm, which I deeply appreciate. That's very cool. He's one of the kindest persons you're ever going to meet. And it just so happens today, this day, is his 30th birthday. All right. So let's do it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nicholas. Happy birthday to you. All right. Very good. And on an equally happy note, Praxis is canceled on Tuesday. I'll be out of town catching some Shakespeare at Lake Tahoe, so no Praxis this week. I'll try to remember to send out an email on that in case you were looking forward to that. But we're back on the following week. Also want to thank the Board of Stewards for their support and bringing in so many different voices this month. That's a really important thing for our church, to hear from different perspectives. And you got a winner today, man. Siobhan just knocked it out of the park, and I can't wait for you to hear her in a little bit. Also gives me time to do some of the things that are hard to get to when I'm teaching every week. And one of those things is deeper research. So looking forward to a new series which will kick off in September, which I hope you'll find it interesting. I'll be interested in it at least. So anyway, that's coming, and look forward to all that we have. Next week we have Nicole Santiago, who championed Everest just a couple of months ago, and we're going to hear her story. And then Jenny Matheny in a couple of weeks, who's just an awesome, awesome scholar and great teacher. Okay, I want to make sure that you know you're welcome. So let's say this out loud together to remind ourselves this is who we are. Welcome to Crosswalk. We are all equals here, all welcomed and affirmed, all lovely and messy human beings coming together in community to heal and renew and reset and restore and revision and reimagine our lives in the presence of the loving, living God. You are now welcomed. Now, I invite you, if you are able to put your fork down for just a moment, to stand with me and our singers here today. This is Classic Hymn Day. We're going to try to do this once a month, where on the third Sunday, you're going to be treated to some classic hymns. You will notice on the third hymn that we do that there is a change in the lyrics that we've gotten used to, so hope you'll enjoy that. All right, this first one is a lot of fun for all of us. Joyful, joyful, we adore thee. Remember, as long as we end on the same note, we're all right. All right? Joyful, joyful, we adore thee, God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee, opening to the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness, drive the dark of doubt away. Giver of immortal gladness, fill us with the light of day. All thy works with joy surround the earth and heaven reflect thy rays. Stars and angels sing around thee, center of unbroken praise. Field and forest, vale and mountain, flowery meadow, flashing sea, chanting bird and flowing fountain, call us to rejoice in thee. Joy of living, ocean depth of happy rest. Thou our Father, Christ our brother, all who live in love are thine. Teach us how to love each other, lift us to the joy divine. Join the mighty chorus which the morning stars began. Father love is reigning o'er us, brother love binds man to man. Ever singing march we onward, victors in the midst of strife. Joyful music lifts us onward in the triumph song of life. As you're hearing these bars go by, what are you grateful for today? Give that some thought. What are you happy about today? What are you joyful about today? As we move to this next song, how many of you enjoyed Tom Ward's Seer last week and his stuff? Got a lot of great feedback on that. He is an avid hiker and a great photographer as well as a great theologian, and he brought all of that together last week. This song that we're going to do could have fit last week as well, but we live in Napa Valley, and it is one of the most beautiful places in the world. And so this song is to help you along with that reality. This is called For the Beauty of the Earth. For the beauty of the earth, for the glory of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies, Christ our God, to thee we raise this our sacrifice of praise. For the beauty of each hour of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light, Christ our God, to thee we raise this our sacrifice of praise. For thyself best gift divine, to the world so freely given, for that great, great love of thine, peace on earth and joy in heaven, Christ our God, to thee we raise this our sacrifice of praise. I invite you to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. Let the beauty of the music overwhelm you. Let the reality of the place that we live inspire you and ground you. You are not separate from the beautiful earth that we live in. You are a part of it. You add beauty to it. We together are creating it with the Spirit of God as the wind in our sails. This next song we sing is very familiar with a few tweaks on the verses. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound of love that sets us free. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that met my heart in fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious does this faith appear that frees us from belief. Yea, though my flesh and heart shall fail, and mortal life shall cease, I now behold within the veil a life of joy and peace. Though we've been here 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, with no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Would you pray with me? God, as we are in this space together, may your Spirit continue to flow, stretching our minds, healing our hearts, that we might be fully present to all that you want to do in this space and in our lives and in the world, through us together by the joining of your Spirit. Be with us now and give us the attention that we need to pay attention to all that you have for us. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's thank our singers for coming up today. As I prepare the stage for our guest speaker today, who I'm really excited to hear from again. The first service, loved her, so if you don't love her, it's your problem, obviously. But I'm confident you will. And I want to begin by warming you up to the text that she's going to be talking from today. When Jesus met with his disciples toward the end of one of his most famous speeches, he talked about the path that he was calling his people to. And he said, the path is wide and many are on the path that leads to destruction. But narrow is the path and few are on it that leads to everlasting life. This spirit-infused life of living in the presence of God all the time, not a heaven thing. And sometimes when we think about that path, we think about this. Got some olive trees on the left and right. This could be somewhere in Napa, for all I know. Possible. Could be in Italy. Could be in Greece. Hard to know. But sometimes this is what we imagine when we think about what Jesus had to say. And sometimes it's easy to feel that way because there's so much Christian ease in the United States. Some, I don't agree with this statement, but some believe that the United States was founded as a Christian nation, and therefore we are a Christian nation. Well, I challenge that idea. We actually, in writing, said, no, we're not going to do that. So that's not really who we are, but we cannot escape the fact that this is the biggest and strongest and loudest religion in the United States. And it pervades so much of Christian language, pervades our culture, that it feels easy to be a Christian. It feels like a walk down this lovely lane, paved. You might think about taking your kids on a bike ride down that, or just a gentle saunter with Carrie and Candace and look at bugs that Carrie points out. Just a nice day in the park. But I don't think that's what Jesus meant. I think this is what Jesus meant. You still got your olive trees, but it's a narrow path. And I bet sometimes when you're on this path, you're not even sure where the path is. Maybe you're not on the path, and you're hoping you're going to pick it up again. And these trees aren't well manicured. These are raw and rugged, natural trees. Just nature in all of its rawness. I think Jesus meant this because he knew that the way he was teaching his disciples and his followers to do their life was different than the culture, not the same. It wasn't going to placate the culture, it was going to challenge it. Jesus did not get arrested, falsely tried, severely beaten, and executed because he taught people how to find inner peace and be nice people. If that's all he was up to, they would have blown him off. It would have been like, yeah, okay, let the guy do what he's going to do. No threat to Rome, no threat to the temple. But it's because of the things that he said that challenged power in its various forms that got him into trouble. So much so that they conspired together. Not all Jews, obviously, but the Jewish leadership in Jerusalem and the leadership from Rome in Jerusalem worked together to make this thing happen. And some of the things that Jesus said, as you'll see, even today, these things have layers of meanings, as you know. We spent a whole year going through the Sermon on the Mount, so when some of these verses fly by, it's going to remind you of lots of things. At first glance, it seems kind of passive, but even on a passive reading, you already know what Jesus is saying is that kind of path stuff. It's hard. It's rugged. We don't necessarily want to do it. This is what he said about halfway through his Sermon on the Mount. But to you who are listening, I say, love your enemies. That's easy. Hard path. Love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who mistreat you. If someone slaps you on one cheek, turn to them the other also. If someone takes your coat, do not withhold your shirt from them. Give to everyone who asks you, and if anyone takes what belongs to you, do not demand it back. Do to others as you would have them do to you. If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who are good to you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners do that. And if you lend to those from whom you expect repayment, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners, expecting to be repaid in full. But love your enemies, do good to them, and lend to them without expecting to get anything back. Then your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High, because he is kind to the ungrateful and wicked. Be merciful, just as your Father in heaven is merciful. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. In your life right now, what's this path mean to you? What are you going through? What's the call of the Spirit of God that is wooing you toward this counterintuitive, countercultural, shalom-filled invitation? With that, I want to welcome to the stage Reverend Siobhan Walker. Let's welcome her.
It's on?
Yep, you're
It's on, okay. Help me put this back.
I can. Do that part, I'll do this part.
Okay. For those who don't know, I am a live streamer on the Twitch platform, and the running joke is, if you don't have technical difficulties, are you really a streamer? Good morning, everyone. As we all know, we are living in tumultuous times. The humanity of trans people, immigrants, and other parts of our community are being erased as we speak. The president's latest executive order is pressuring the medical community to change the vaccine schedule for children, which won't just affect them, but immunocompromised people and older folks, among others. And we're all dealing with war, government departments being threatened and shut down, or crucial information being altered or removed from websites. Needless to say, a lot of those events affect us personally. A lot of people I know wanted to lash out at those who voted for this. They would say things like, "You sold out your trans friends for cheaper eggs. You were more concerned about so-called illegals taking your job than about government policies that would make you a target as well. If we have to suffer, then you are going to suffer with us, and you deserve every moment of it." Now, as cathartic as it may be to punish the ones who got us in this situation, we have to remember that it does nothing for the people who are hurting. Retaliation can create more suffering. That said, we don't have to meekly submit to oppression. Jesus taught a different way. During this time, the time of this passage, Jesus was in the area of Palestine, which at the time extended roughly from Caesarea Philippi in the north to Beersheba in the south. He also lived under the rule of the Roman Empire. Being citizens of one of the most powerful countries in the world could have its benefits, but for those who were conquered or under its regime, it wasn't all wine and roses. Rome's focus was war and power and the belief in the Pax Romana, the Roman peace, or Caesar is God. Because of this, believers were ready for a revolution. They wanted someone who would go in, swords wielded and army engaged, to take down Rome and punish it for the crimes against its citizens. In particular, they sought retaliation against the people in power who had harmed them. It's very similar to the US. Remember, we got our power through conquest and war too. The God language is the only thing that's different, and even then, some people will tell you that Trump's presidency is God ordained. The Roman Empire might look foreign to us, but we're closer than we think. People in power cause others pain to force them to comply. And people in pain want justice, even if it turns into vengeance that results in collateral damage. Jesus understood this, but pushed back against a bloody uprising. He knew that Caesar was not God. A revolution is not always based in armed revolt, but peaceful insurrection. Note that Jesus said nothing about passive acceptance of oppression, although that is the most popular interpretation of this passage. On the contrary, we have no time to indulge in petty retaliation. Our people need us, and time is of the essence. The work does not end once the other cheek is turned, the coat and the blessings and the prayers have been given. There are rules to resist and people to encourage. There are victims to protect and basic needs to be fulfilled. Which leads me to my next part. I'm going to read you a passage from Genesis 45, 4 through 13. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Come close to me." When they had done so, he said, "I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. And now, do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. For 2 years now there has been famine in the land, and for the next 5 years there will be no plowing and reaping. But God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you a remnant on earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So then, it was not you who sent me here, but God. He made me father to Pharaoh, lord of his entire household and ruler of all Egypt. Now hurry back to my father and say to him, 'This is what your son Joseph says. God has made me lord of all Egypt. Come down to me, don't delay. You shall live in the region of Goshen and be near me, you, your children and grandchildren, your flocks and herds, and all you have. I will provide for you there, because 5 years of famine are still to come. Otherwise, you and your household and all who belong to you will become destitute. You can see for yourselves, and so can my brother Benjamin, that it is really I who am speaking to you. Tell my father about all the honor accorded me in Egypt and about everything you've seen, and bring my father down here quickly." Joseph learned a lesson about vengeance as the bullied son of Jesse. Many of us know his story, how his brothers sold him into slavery and lied to their father, claiming that he had been killed by a wild animal, how he became first a household attendant, then assistant to the jail warden, then second in command over the entire country of Egypt. When the famines came, it was up to Joseph to decide who could and could not buy grain. Note that not only Egyptians, but people from all over the region came for help because of the famine's severity. Joseph literally had the power of life and death in his hands. When Joseph's brothers came to buy grain, they had no idea who he was. To be fair, 20 or so years had passed since they'd sold their annoying younger brother to the Romans. But Joseph had not forgotten. He took the opportunity to retaliate. He accused them of being spies, arrested one brother, set them up for a theft charge, and threatened not to sell to them again unless they returned with their youngest brother, Benjamin. When they returned, he planted his silver cup in Benjamin's bag before they left. When the cup was found, he claimed that the young man must be punished for his thievery and would now serve as a slave in his household. When Judah begged him to reconsider, telling him how brokenhearted their father would be with the loss of his youngest, and in addition to the loss of two of his middle children, Joseph realized that his focus on revenge was hurting not only his older brothers, but his youngest brother and father, who had no knowledge and nothing to do with the older brother's actions. Had Joseph revealed himself sooner instead of playing mind games, he would have avoided wasting 3 months or more and spared his father a lot of anguish and pain. And who else in that household was suffering because of his selfishness? I'm certain that epiphany, paired with the mixed emotions of seeing his family again, is why Joseph decided to reveal himself and offer real, genuine help, not just a stopgap in the form of food. Yes, the people who hurt him were going to benefit from his aid, but now they had a chance to feel remorse for their actions and to follow a better path. Friends, it's easy to succumb to the desire to retaliate. I'm not going to say that there's no time and place for it, but remember that for every target, there are people caught in the crossfire. And we don't have time for revenge anyway, because we have work to do. Sure, we don't want our abusers to prosper from our work, but there is a chance for redemption, and there are less of them than there are the victims. So don't allow yourself to get bogged down in your pain and frustration. Use it to motivate you. And with that, I'm going to leave you with this slightly paraphrased quote from Nadia Bolz-Weber, one of my favorite Episcopalian priests. I really believe that when someone else does us harm, we're connected to that mistreatment like a chain. Because forgiveness is nothing less than an act of fidelity to an evil combating campaign. So it's not an act of niceness. It's not being a doormat. It really, to me, is more courageous than that. Maybe retaliation or holding on to anger about the harm done to me doesn't actually combat evil. Maybe it feeds it. Because in the end, if we're not careful, we can actually absorb the worst of our enemy and, on some level, even start to become them. So what if letting go, rather than being a pansy way of saying it's okay, is actually a way of wielding bolt cutters and snapping the chain that links us? Like it's saying, what you did to me was so not okay that I refused to be connected to it anymore. Letting go is about being a freedom fighter. And free people are dangerous people. Free people aren't controlled by the past. Free people laugh more than others. Free people see beauty where others do not. Free people are not easily offended. Free people are unafraid to speak the truth to nonsense. Free people are not chained to resentment. That is worth fighting for. There really is a light that shines in the darkness, and that the darkness cannot, will not, shall not overcome it. Amen.
All right, excellent stuff, and want to give you the opportunity. We're doing great on time. She's not nearly as long-winded as I am, which you're very grateful for. I don't see any complaints. But wondering, how is this sitting with you? What sparked in you? Any pushback or any agreement or insight you'd like to share? Yeah, Ann.
First of all, thank you. It was just beautiful. You have great speaking. But I love the part towards the end about cutting the chain. Is releasing you from it. And that hit home. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Reminded me of a lot of boundaries work that Lauren has taught over the years, that it's okay to set that boundary of really unhealthy, destructive people. It's really good. Stevie.
I second that.
Thank you, Dar.
Is it on?
Now, oh,
Okay.
All right.
wow, I feel a commanding presence. I second that, and I also second the sentiment that it was a beautiful oration. And the part that I loved the most was free people laugh more. And I was like, yes, I want to be that person. That sounds really fun.
Well, Stevie, I follow you on Facebook. I think you're doing a pretty good job at it. If you need to brighten your day, just watch her do her dance thing. It's awesome. All right. Very good. Yeah.
So I struggle with this, especially when you're.
Thank you, Brian.
So I've always struggled with this, and I go back and forth, especially when you're online or something, you're commenting and replying, and sometimes I feel like when I see that people are feeling the fire of retaliation, I think they're becoming the monster, in which they're really being oppressed by. But then I'm also seeing that it incites a social reaction to it, like it influences others to start to pay attention. So I'm curious to your thoughts on whether or not there is a time and place or a moment in that conflict where retaliation is kind of productive, the ends justify the means kind of thing.
I would say that it does depend on how it's done. So I remember when, right after the election, a lot of folks that I knew on Facebook, I'm part of a bunch of different groups, were blaming, this group of Latinos for how the vote went, and then the women were being blamed, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, folks, that's not how this works. So what I would do was post, okay, it's easy to blame each other, but that is kind of what the folks, the establishment, so to speak, wants us to do, as opposed, and some of you have heard this analogy where you have two people sitting at a table, and then you've got, the rich guy in the corner who's stealing all the cookies off the table. And then he goes, oh, look, that person is trying to steal your cookie right there. He's trying to steal your cookie. And the two people are so busy focused on each other, they don't see the guy shoving all the cookies in his bag. So retaliation, it depends on, again, how it's done. Are you going after this other person that you think is stealing your cookie? Are you focusing on the overarching things that are forcing you to think this way? Are you making it sort of a gathering of people, inspiring people to do something about it that will uplift the community in particular and move you along the line to resolving the situation? Even if it's something as small as, oh, hey, our local food bank had to shut down due to cuts. Okay, let's all get together and do a once-a-week potluck or something so we made sure everybody gets fed. You could blame other people for that shutdown, but your energy is better spent elsewhere. So.
Like retaliation against the individual were the issues, and retaliation against maybe
Right. Retaliate against the issue, not the people.
That's helpful. I was thinking too, I struggle with the same thing, Brian, and I'm reminded, part of the Jewish tradition is the adage, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth kind of a thing. And that's not permission to poke somebody's eye out, it's a limiter. It's so like, okay, this thing happened to you, and our tendency is, and as a nation, we have been guilty of this. If somebody does something to us, we pile on them 100 times as bad as happened to us. And that's a complete violation of that principle. So I love what you're saying, that there's thing. And also Jesus was redemptive in his pushback. So it wasn't just for the sake of punishment or retaliation, but how can I hold this thing and lead it toward shalom in some respect? Great question. Candace, I think? Oh, no.
Hello.
Okay.
You can tell I don't public speak very much. First of all, thank you so much for spending your time with us this morning. What a beautiful and poignant message. And I agree, you have the most beautiful voice. I would love to know how to hear more of your message. And you mentioned you stream on Twitch, is that right? So is that where we find you?
That's
Where
one
can we
place
find
you can
more
find
of you?
me. That is one place you can find me. As part of my ministry there, well, I'll give you a very short synopsis of what I do there. Twitch, for those of you who don't know, is a lot like YouTube, except it's live. So when people come to my channel, they'll usually see me cooking. That's my category, food and drink. And it's like sitting in somebody's kitchen. So you're having this conversation while this person, oh gosh, what did I make last week? Beef heart burgers. That's another thing about me. I make some really unusual food. And we're having this conversation about everything, including faith and what we believe and why and how that plays out in our lives. And there are times where I have something called Pastoral Redemption, where people can ask me to say something uplifting or explain what's going on in their lives, and I'll try to say something that will help. So you can find me there. A lot of my sermons are in a link to my chat, and you can find those there. So I do try to make those available. One of my biggest flaws, I personally think, is the fact that, as you've noticed, I don't preach very long. I am working my way up to 30 minutes. I'm not there yet, but yes, that is where you can hear more of me.
I don't think anybody's disappointed. I think it was great.
Fair.
And we didn't say this, but it's written. We are a part of the Evergreen Association, which is part of American Baptist Churches. Evergreen is the body that welcomed us after we were, either leave or kick out kind of a thing from our former region, which didn't like our position on LGBTQ equality. And so Siobhan has been on staff there for a few years, got ordained 2 years ago, is that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's super exciting. All right, so that's part of Siobhan. Yeah. Oh,
Hi.
Candace, yeah.
Hi. Hi. Thank you again. Yes, you do have a beautiful speaking voice, and all your words rang true with me. And I was thinking a lot about the non-retaliation and you know, the way we're separated, you know, in this country politically. And, you know, I've heard a lot of nasty things from both sides of people saying, you know, from COVID things and even from my own family, and it made me think about that kind of that hands-off retaliation about karma, you know, like they'll get theirs, you know, they'll get it someday, so I don't need to worry about it. And then you hear about some terrible illness and see they got theirs, you know. That doesn't make me feel good at all either, you know, thinking, you know, yeah, you know, they were a terrible person, but they suffered. Doesn't work. So that was my one question, is that do you have any thoughts in your theology about what karma is at all? I know it's a pretty wide word and people use it for all kinds of different things. I know I've heard Buddhists just say it's just lessons being learned, that's all. So that's all. Thank you.
For me, it is more about, there's a thin line here, but it's a thin line between they got theirs and justice was served, because those are not necessarily the same thing. So when I find myself thinking about that, I have to be very careful about how I see it. And, you know, there was a person in a church that I attended for years who would make it a point to try to bully the pastor. And this person had been at this church for decades, was one of the biggest financial contributors to the church, and did not like what the pastor was saying. And when he realized that the pastor could not be bullied, he left and took all of his money with him. And the church did eventually shut down because of that lack of funds. And come to find out, a few years later, this man died in a car accident with his wife as a survivor. And the human side of me is going, see, he got his. And the rest of me is going, wait, no, that's not how this works either. So it's, we really have to control that human possibility. All we can do is leave it in the hands of God. And you know, how God sees fit to resolve a situation. He could no longer try to bully any other pastors. He couldn't use his money as a weapon anymore. Those are the things that we need to focus on. And again, we're human. We do not like being mistreated, of course. We have to establish boundaries around our treatment. But there is a difference between being vengeful and being just.
That's good. Anybody else? Well, thank you all for coming today. Thank you, Siobhan, for such good work. Thank you to the Nosh Squad for providing a great breakfast for us today. And we will see you next week, where we'll welcome Nicole Santiago to the stage to talk about all the things she learned at Mount Everest. All right, see you next week.
Do you want me to do the benediction?
We've got, Siobhan has a benediction for us. I forgot about this. One last thing.
One last thing, I'm sorry. Hear our benediction. People of God, may God free you from the chains of resentment and spite. May Christ give you courage to protect the vulnerable, challenge injustice, and meet the needs of your neighbors. May the Holy Spirit keep you from becoming that which you oppose and strengthen you for the work of peace, justice, and repair. Resist evil with truth, compassion, and determined love. Go as people who know that Caesar is not God, that oppression will not have the final word, and that the light shines in the darkness, and that the darkness cannot overcome it. And may divine grace, love, and power be with you now and always. Amen.
Amen. All right.
Thank you so much.